Yo, all right. Hope I'm doing this right. All right, let's start. My name is Samaje Harbin. Um, to introduce myself, I'm 23 years old from Los Angeles, California. I'm a visual artist. Some people might say photographer, but I do a lot more than just photography. Um, it's been about 5 months since I released my first uh, print entitled Daytona. It's what you see on the screen here. I'm just gonna talk about like the process of everything, of how I went through it all, uh, what some of the steps I went through to take the photographs, and about the moments creating it. So, just a background of it. I started taking pictures in ninth grade, high school, in 2012, 2013 actually. Um, Second semester 2013. It was something I'd never done before. You know, I always like video cameras, so I've been recording my friends skateboarding since I was like 10 years old, but I've never like actually done photography. So it's like the eye, I guess, has always been there, but I've never like specified it, you know. So fast forwarding me, I started photography with an iPhone 4S. We had VSCO during that time, and Instagram was really like just becoming a thing. What really got me into it was like going into hashtags, like hashtag iPhoneography, a hashtag, like just we had like little communities in the hashtags, way different than what it is now. And going through those hashtags, seeing like people in my area taking pictures in like LA, like it was like a lot of people going to like the artsy parts of LA, like downtown Los Angeles, um, like the parks, LA River, around that stuff, whatever. Fast forward, I started taking it serious and falling off, taking it serious and falling off. Then finally, like a couple years later in 2017, is when I bought my first film camera. I never shot film before. I didn't know anything about film, but there was a skateboarder named Artosari. Uh, he was shooting with a Leica. I think it was like a Leica M6, and I went to one of his uh, photo gallery shows, and I seen his camera, and I'm like, what is that? It's that I was rocking a Canon, like just a Canon, like I think it was like a T2i. So I'm like, what is that? Then looking at all his prints and stuff, he shot everything on film. So I'm like, okay. I bought a film camera, which was a Canon AF35M. It's like a very small point and shoot. Then I started shooting. I can show you exactly my first roll of film. I shot with my good friend Ethan. So like my first roll of film was literally this. Like I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was just like, okay. I didn't know nothing about film, nothing about exposure, nothing about light. Because on the Canon, all I always shot was like um, aperture priority, and because like then just shot with like my specific aperture that I wanted, which was always like f8 if I'm taking landscapes or f4 if I'm taking portraits. Never could go below f4 because like my lens was never sharp enough to like take advantage of it. But just going through it, I was just like really pointing shooting. Like that's what film was. Like I really had no specific idea of what I was doing. I like taking pictures of cool stuff in like a specific way, so this was it. What threw me off really was like the frame lines within a camera, because when you have like your Canon, you see exactly what you're gonna take, but knowing like the camera I had, it was kind of like you just have to like frame it, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why all these pictures are so like wonky, but you see the ideal is there. Fast forward, like this is the first roll of film I've ever shot in 2017, and whatever. So fast forward with that, I started shooting a little bit more. This was like in the beginning of like February. Then I want to say June is when I end up quitting my job to focus on like my mental health. Then I bought a Yashica T4 as my second camera because I started like shooting more film and I started getting more used to it. So the T4 is my second camera. Again, this was like something, just doing something fun. I bought that one for like $250. Today, that camera was like at least $600. So I really got the bargain before it was like actually a thing. So I was just, like I said, just pointing and shooting. As you can see, I started getting a little bit better with framing, I guess you can say. Still, it was like me just trying it out, like shooting different things, seeing how I feel. Stuff that I thought was cool, you know. It looked a lot better when I posted these on Instagram in 2017 because like you'll crop it and put the white borders and make it look aesthetic, you know. But nonetheless, it was still like I was still like learning from it. Then I met some people. Specifically, I met my friends Justin, Brandon, Tim, and like a couple more guys who really was like already into the film game. We met up at I want to say it was a photo meetup. This is like 3 days after I quit my job. It was like the most monumental shit that ever happened because we met up. This is a guy from like Negative Feedback. This is just a few of them. This was like a month after I got my T4, so it was like still had it. I started getting a lot better with like framing, capturing the idea, I guess. Still, it was like a point and shoot, so I was still like having fun with it. But nonetheless, it was still like fun. So that after I met them, we planned a trip to Death Valley 4 months later. In November, took like 2 weeks off my job. Then this is the first part of the book, what I want to introduce of Daytona. This is the front page. So you flip it over and it says like a gallery of a previous escapade. Previously, it's like what I had before. The idea was I created this idea in 2014, like of an outside book, way before I even knew about what photography like. If I can even do photography, I just thought of like, oh, it'd be cool for me to like do a book for like outside. Then in 2015, I came up with the name Get Off the Internet and Go Outside, which I was really talking to myself when I was telling myself, it's like, hey, like, Samanje, get off the internet and go outside. But nonetheless, I couldn't do that title now because current time that's a little pretentious. So I named it Daytona, which really was, the name came from Daytona Road Series, which is like the NASCAR. Like me just going around, you know? Then first spread, my favorite photo of all times. This was, I believe this was Mammoth, right near like Mammoth Lake-ish. I really love this photograph because this was like first take. Like I took 2 pictures. I took this picture and I had my friend Justin take a picture of myself, which was going to be this one. So these are like the only 2 pictures I took in this spot, and I nailed it first try. This is way past the point and shoots. This is when I got a real film camera. I got a Canon F1. I bought a real lens. I bought some better film. This is past the point and shoot. I did the point and shoot for like 4 months, and I think not to like boast myself, but I learned more in those 4 months than I did, I think, of anybody I known with photography, because how fast I was excelling at like framing, ideas, this and that. Like a lot of this stuff was like projected fast. So this was the first page going through. We have some more spreads of like, I don't know where this at. I think this is like in Lee Vining. So around Yosemite. Definitely like this is like the hot springs. I don't know the hot springs name, but I'll probably tell you if you ask for it. Broken down house. There's a picture I'll probably put on Instagram of this house being completely destroyed now. Like 2017 is pretty intact, but like over time it started like gradually deteriorating even more. Love the spread too. Another thing, what I want to tell people that they probably don't know, it's like I shot this entire zine on expired film. So like this film on the left is Portrait 160 NC, and it expired in 2002. The thing with the expired film is not a lot of people know is like expired film is kind of like a hit or miss. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it completely misses. Like point blank, it's so weird how expired film works, because that's a shot that I took, and this is a shot on the same exact roll. Like you can see like this or something like this. Like you'll get that. This is the same exact roll. So like me like knowing that, okay, I'm going somewhere I've never been before. I'm finally leaving my house, finally going outside to take real photographs. And I'm taking something that doesn't even work 100%. So it was such a big gamble, but as you can tell, it worked out perfectly because everything that I wanted to happen actually happened, which is kind of crazy. But nonetheless, definitely like this is page 2. Go down. Same area as a hot spring is we have this White House. You can see the grain on the expired like portrait. So beautiful because it shows its grittiness. That's what I'm about. That's like all my work is about. A lot of my newer stuff, if you can tell, it's like a lot cleaner because I'm trying to like be professional-ish. But a lot of my true like real art is like gritty. It just looks good. But moving on, next spread is at Mammoth Lake. I love this spread because of the colors of how like the emptiness of the sky plays with like the deep blue lake. Threw the second picture in black and white because I thought it would just look cool. I have a perfect like feeling for like diptychs. Like if you know me for like my earlier stuff, a lot of my earlier work is a lot of this, you know. I like spreads. I like because it just makes it look more interesting rather than just throwing a single picture up there and having like a little white space. I feel like it's a lot better like this. It's like it looks pleasing to the eye. It's very simple. Moving on, we back in the same part where the house was, Lee Vining. This is kind of crazy to me. This seems like a wallpaper for like Windows. How like the clouds is ducked right behind the mountain, but you can still see like the clarity in it. The open field, the colors is just crazy. Like even knowing like I shot this on expired film and the colors came out like this is so crazy because like the white is so crisp, the clouds are you can still see the clouds. Like I don't know, I feel like I really like it. Moving on, this is the beauty of the expired film. It completely being like, you know, how like the sky and the sand was the same color. So on the left you can see it's being washed out. But on the right side, you can see how they have the dark colors on, and they actually pop out in a film more. Um, this is like not even Photoshop. This is the actual picture. I don't know if anyone ever thought that, or if anyone thought about it, but I kind of find that a little crazy how like they're perfectly out in a picture. You know. Um, It looks good. Like it looks pleasing to the eye. Like this is the original photo. This is like the second row. These are all like all in a row. So it's like I said, like most of these shots was like taken first try. Like film, you can't retake any photos. I never shot a single photo on film 2 times. Like I shoot it once and that's it. Cause the one you only own 35 millimeter. All I had was 36 shots or 24, and basically it's like that's all you have. You can't shoot something be like, okay, well maybe let me try that again. It's like no, you shoot it once and it just looks good to me. Like it fits in with the theme a lot. Going down more back to the house, back to the colors, you can tell like that film is like so versatile. This is Portra 400. Actually no, this is Fuji expired, because you can tell like Portra really doesn't do like the purples is deep. The like expired portraits I had, this was like expired Fuji or expired Kodak. This was like going back to like the colors. This was one photo and this was next. Like that's expired film. Like green, pink, purplish, and I just feel like that's different for me because it looks good. Like this picture is. I wanted this picture to get a cover, but this is also like a monumental piece in like the part of the book because it's just a good photo. Not even like to boost my shit, but I just feel like it's like a really good photo. Going down more, some pictures of me taken by my friend Justin. I have to have like some kind of reminder of myself, you know. I told him to do exactly how I used to take photos back then, was to blur me up or have the background sharp. So essentially you'll just focus infinity. So everything should be in view, but I was just staying close enough to the camera where I'll be outside and, you know, the back would be the main focus. These pictures are like some of my favorites because it's like this is like, you know, like my aesthetic ish, how it was back then. It was sick. So fast forward into part 2. That was 2017. 2018 was when I went back to Yosemite. So I actually ended up going back with my friend Michaela, who was like my old coworker at my job. We went back and we actually camped. So when I went with them, like these guys, like my friends, Justin and Jesus, we didn't actually like camp. We camped actually for like a night, but other nights we slept in a hotel because I ended up like getting a concussion, so I really couldn't sit out in the cold. I was like done for. I got what is it called? Altitude illness, and then passing out in a pizza parlor bathroom. Like smack my head on the wall, then smack my head on the toilet because I can see like the trail from the blood from the wall to the toilet. It was like, I don't know. I woke up. I don't know how I woke up, but I woke up, had a mild concussion, never got that treated, and that shit like messed me up because I ended up like just taking painkillers for the next like 4 weeks to end up like getting rid of the pain. Like I never got it treated. But fast forward to part two. Coming back to like that film, I bought expired film. I brought more expired film. Never tested it. So these are all so like hit or miss. The entire book is hit or miss. But these are like different because you can see like, hold on, let me find a full picture so I can like zoom in on it. It's like the clarity of the mountains with the sun peeking out. It's like it's perfect, you know. I don't know how like this is portrait. This is definitely portrait because I can just tell you. I don't know how portrait film like is so like flexible like that, but it just looks good, you know. Like you can even zoom in and tell it's like usually my film it's like crisp, but like because it's expired, it just like it's so like dirty and gritty, but it looks good, you know, especially like on print and then like on a mobile like Instagram or something. If I put it like with the borders, whatever, it just looks clean. Going down, this is some of my favorite ones. This is black and white also. This was expired Tri-X 400. This was expired like in 1999. So this was like literally like 18-year-old film. 17-year-old, 18-year-old film that was just sitting in somebody's freezer for the entire time. And this was like some of my favorite photos because like the black and white, it almost looks like a filter people would do today. But that's how the film works. I should shoot it, I develop it, and it came out like this. The blacks hit different, the grays hit different, the soft, like it looks like so eerie. Looks good. This is like also another one of my favorite sequences because of the clouds, the clarity in the clouds, and like the trees. It's like it was like early in the morning. It's like 10 a.m. We took a day trip to Yosemite, so it was like 10 a.m. in the morning. We left my house at 5 a.m. Got there at 10, and this was like the first roll I shot. Bangers. I shot like 7 rolls in like 3 hours. So I shot like a lot of work, but this is some of my favorite ones. The trees are so, it looks good, you know. Going back to the same sequence, this is probably one of my favorite photos of the part, just because of how like of the angle I shot it at. I seen like a lot of my favorite black and white photographers shoot this way, but in street, and they'll like shoot it a very specific way, but this way it's like hanging outside the car and tilted in, and like you have that tunnel vision kind of thing. Dope, you know, dope. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite ones also. Here's another one of that angle. I shot it more to the right of it. And here's like my friend Michaela in front of it. This spot is my favorite because it was so like foggy this day. But usually when people go, it's like the clearest day on earth, you know? But it was weird because like we didn't even know it was gonna be raining. But we were just prepared for anything, and this is perfect, you know? This was also like one that was shot very similar to the first one. This one was I took this one at a weird time because I was on the phone with someone talking, but I wasn't like really paying attention. I was just taking pictures. So like I shot that one. When I posted this on Instagram, it got like a bunch of like reception from it. Posted that one. Like I have this one too. This is like it worked better on Instagram because of like how like I could like crop it and stuff. And I also have this one. This one I posted on Instagram also. This is like the style I loved because it didn't have a direct like it didn't have a direct point to it. It just looked good, especially when I put in like diptychs and stuff and like pair it with another photo from that day. Um, it just looked good, you know. Just more stuff. It just looked good, and that's what some people like don't try to hit us often. I feel like people just want to like take super tight photos that get like the most like reaction from, instead of taking stuff that just like that look good for you. You know, going down more. Um, these are also some of my favorite ones. These were kind of like, I want to say, I kind of cherish these ones a lot more because I was playing like Mac Miller songs when we were like going there, and I just felt like during that time before he actually passed, it was kind of weird because like we were playing his songs. Then like a year later, when I came back to these pictures, Mac Miller was still playing. So that's like kind of weird for me because I was in the car, I was riding by, Mac Miller is playing. A year later, when I like come back to the photos, Mac Miller is still playing. You know, specifically like the song "So It Goes." Here's another photo that I loved. But Michaela has this weird thing with her knees, where they just like, you know, they do that thing. She drives with her shoes off too, which is like, I love this photo because this is her. She's like a very out of city girl. Like she loves nature. So like this is her, like this is her in her element, you know? And that was me actually like in my element too, because I was shooting a lot of like nature stuff during that time. Because I always loved the P&W, like Andrew Kearns kind of stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna shoot like Oregon and Washington and San Francisco, you know, like the Bay side with all the trees and mountains, and that was my vibe. So this was like one of my favorite photos, only of her. I just don't like the knee. Sorry, Michaela, but I love you, but I don't love your knees. Part three. Part three is actually kind of like also kind of special. So in 2019, I actually stopped shooting photography for like personal reasons. Ended up getting surgery in like May 2019. Didn't do anything at all the entire year, so that was like an off year for me. Kind of how like this one was kind of, but this one was kind of like different. So fast forward 2020, right before quarantine, me and my friend Justin, who's like the road trip god, we set out another plan to go out again. So we ended up going out the same day. They issued the stay at home order. So like around March, my job said don't come in until a week to figure it out. We ended up closing for like 3 months. But when they told us don't come in, I'm like, okay, Justin, we gotta go now. There will be no people outside, no traffic. Let's go. He was like, all right, bet. We left, and the route that we took is kind of different because we ended up going from like my house from Torrance all the way to the border of Mexico. I think I have a photo from there. Like the border of Mexico. It was kind of weird because we were getting called out by like the border patrol. They was like, no man, you can't ride over here and take pictures. Like they were like making plans for something. I don't know if it shows up, but this is like the border of Mexico. Um, then he was like, no, you can't do that. We were like, all right, fine. Then we end up just kind of scaling back. We looped from there. Then we went to Salton Sea, which is our favorite place. Left Salton Sea, went to Yuma, Arizona. Shitty place. I'm sorry, but it's just such a bad place. Torrance to Salton Sea to Yuma. We leaped through Phoenix. Then we end up going to Flagstaff. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe my geography is off. Somewhere around here, we went to the Grand Canyon. I'm pretty sure it was a Grand Canyon. But we ended up going to the Grand Canyon. Then we looped back. We went to like the most fucking out of town place in Nevada. It was like Tanapo something. Tonopah? Yeah. Tonopah, Nevada. Because Justin wanted to go somewhere where this famous photographer shot. Also a very shitty place. It was like just the most out of place I've ever been in my life. Tonopah, Nevada. Don't know what I was doing, but I was taking pictures, so that's exactly what I should have been doing, you know? Favorite photo from there too. We'll get to that. Sorry, I'm spoiling that. But all right, scroll down. There we go. This is actually like a real grave site. It's kind of weird because you have this place, and like right behind it was like a clown hotel. So I don't know, call it how you see it, but that shit kind of threw me off. But Brian has like a very similar photo to that. But Brian Schumann. Yeah, so this is Brian Schumann's like version of that photo. His was like a lot more clear because of the day, but mine still hit, you feel me? Like all of my shit hit, so it still proved this point. Scrolling down, still in Tonopah, Nevada, open fields, clouds. That day was beautiful. It was like, it wasn't even hot. It was like a lot of sun, but it wasn't even hot. It was like, it was just so clear, you know? Then we went to like the art exhibit open thing with the cars and stuff. A lot of it was like DIY. Rihanna recently went there. She didn't call me, but it is what it is. This was like real Trump County. I remember talking to one of my friends about this, like just being in like Trump County during a pandemic, and I was like the only black person in a 20-mile radius, which wasn't a problem because I don't ever think about race like that. But it was kind of weird because it was like, why was I out there? You know, everyone had like American flags. That shit scares me. When I see too many like American flags and too many like Chevys and GMCs and Rams, I'm like, all right, I'm out of my element. But nonetheless, it still hit different. This photo, I love. I don't know what's that light leak, but it served its purpose because it lined up with like the tree pole thing. I want the flag to actually fly to the left or to the right. I kid you not, it was the windiest day. That flag stood right there the entire time. It did not want me to get that photo. If I would have got that photo, I would have been happy, but it did not want me to get that photo. So, flag was a hater. He was like, oh, you ain't about to use me for clout. I'm like, all right, facts. Going down more, we're back into We went through Tonopah. We're back into Death Valley to like right here, ish. Sand fields. We went through a lot of sand fields. And like we shot like a lot of sand. You know, I have a lot more stashed somewhere. I don't know where the film is at, but it was sick. You know, back in Tonopah, the light just hitting perfect on the open. I believe that's the town. Everything looks the same out there, but clouds super good. And that's pretty much it. That's the book. Ending off with my sentiment. Like I said, to anyone who's reading this, just know it took 3 years to get here. From the first point in 2017, actually leaving my house, starting to actually do photography, quitting 10, 15 times. I don't quit, taking hiatus, and like going back and forth, taking it serious. It's whatever. And the greatest thing about this was actually like the first time I've ever like put myself out there. Like usually I tell people I take photography, but like everyone can tell it's just me and my homies. You know, I never like put my name out there. So this is a good time, you know. A lot of this stuff was shot during like times where I wish, you know, I wish I could have like done a lot more, but it still served its purpose. I shot a lot of stuff during that month of March, and after that I kind of took like the biggest pause because I just had to reevaluate so many things. But it's still like it was still good. Taking my signature like card selfie thing. That's how I really like tell what time it is, you know, in a film, because most of my stuff looks so dated or it looks so new. But this like just tells me, okay, like this is during that time. I don't have this camera anymore, so I know exactly when. I don't have the hat anymore either, so I know exactly when. Like I got rid of it, so I know it's like, okay, that was the last month. I don't know. It's just doing that stuff, going through these times. It just showed me like how much I've actually like grown. You know, how much like the aesthetic has changed. Aesthetic is just my mood. So it's like how much my mood is changing, how much I learned, how much like I just progressed during the years. And this body of work is like one of my favorites. Like I feel like I have to like my next thing I put out won't be anything short of this. It'll be like a better polished version. Even though this is like really polished, like this is like, you know, if someone want to ask like who is Samaje Harbin, like who is Samaje Harbin, I will exactly point them this, and they'll be like, okay. And it's weird because like I said, I'm not really like an outside person, so to have an entire body of work that's like compromised, or I don't think that's the word, but that's like compiled of outside in nature, it's kind of amazing because it's like it's not really my element, but it's like something I put my foot in. So people respect it, be like, okay, you know. I don't know. I feel like it's just dope. Cause that's pretty much it. You know, I've been trying to like explain my thoughts. I could have got way more like in depth, but I just like my stuff to speak for itself. You know, it just proves its point. But that's it. But if you listen to this all the way through, thank you. If you didn't, thank you. But that's it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. I'm gonna do more of these. I'm gonna go a lot more in with like my work. I'm gonna put together like several projects and just talk about them, you know. But that's pretty much it. All right, peace.